This woman is an incredible woman. She has been through so much and has come out the other end and still trying. In this episode, she's looking for patterns, or it seems like she's looking for patterns. But her bubbliness and happiness, no matter what she does, just shines brighter than anybody I've ever known.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of A Cuppa With. I hope you've got your brews. I have a sleepy time tea to help me ease off tonight. But we're here to discuss people's stories from mental health to mindset and everything in between. And this evening I have a guest if she'd like to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashely Collins. I am a vlogger, YouTuber, content creator, artist, all that fun stuff. Call me something, I'll probably answer. I'm an athlete. If you want me to be, I'll do it. Whatever.
So what's your story?
So I started creating content unintentionally, not even on purpose. I had experienced a very bad breakup, and I understand the importance of journaling.
Yeah.
And I got that, but I didn't feel like writing.
Okay, fair
I was
enough.
being completely lazy. I did not feel like writing it down. So I would pick up my phone every day and just check in with myself to see how I was doing. And it was just totally just like super basic. Hey, Ashely. It was all first person. Hey, Ashely, to Ashely. This is past Ashely. We're having a bad day today because this happened. We're having a good day today because this happened. And it was all first person. And I uploaded it to YouTube because I had run out of space with my phone.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I did not want to delete the videos.
Okay.
I don't know why I just didn't want to delete them, but I kept them and I uploaded them to YouTube, and I accidentally made one of them public, and people really resonated with it, and I was like, why don't I just keep going with this, because it's making me feel really good. So yeah.
So how did it get to that point where you felt like recording yourself? Because to see yourself is making yourself accountable to yourself. So how did it get to that point?
It's so funny that you say that, because one of my videos, and I can't upload it because it won't upload it. I still have it on my phone, but I was like sobbing, crying a mess. I was like throwing up, and I was like, you need to see yourself right now. You need to see like this version of yourself so you don't go back here again.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it clicked for me. Like, this is just a reminder that this is what it's actually like to be sad. This is actually what it's like to be depressed. So like whatever you're going through right now, actually present tense is nothing compared to what we went through before. So it's very humbling, a lot. It's extremely humbling.
I can imagine. So, I mean, I think I did the same relatively myself, funny enough, not long after a breakup. So I can completely resonate with that. Like, you sometimes you have to see yourself at your worst to be able to know that you're never going to go back to that point.
Yeah.
So how have you found the path to discovery since?
It's been very it's been very eye-opening. For one thing that I've realized lately is that I've been getting agitated a lot less frequently.
Okay.
And I've never been a very angry person. I've always been kind of positive-ish. I'm still that normal person, like, who likes to gossip and who would, like, that kind of person. But I never noticed how quickly I got triggered until I realized that this is not a huge issue. This is small. This is minute on the grand scale of things. So it's definitely helped a lot with my agitation. I think it's definitely 1,000% helped me be a lot more kind to strangers.
Okay. Strangers
in particularly, because I think that how we treat people matters so much on their day to day. And I use this, I've been using this analogy a lot this year, and I know it's only January, but I'm going to use this a lot in 2019. So, because I want to make it kind of like a thing where if I'm rude to you and you get in your car and you get in a car accident, I think that's my fault.
So you're going down the path of responsibility.
Yeah, definitely.
I can understand that one. I think once you take the responsibility, you take the power. Even if it's not your fault, if you take some responsibility for whatever, because I mean, I watch people like Gary Vee and all them lot, and they say the same thing, is once you take responsibility, you take the power. Because I always think, even if the situation wasn't my fault, I was still in that situation. So I have to take responsibility for that, for the fact that I was still there in a situation that if I took a couple of steps back or stopped myself when I doubted myself or doubted the situation, I wouldn't have been in that situation. So I take that responsibility onto myself. So I completely understand with that. Again, responsibility, to want to take ownership of responsibility in any given situation. Does that come from anything?
That's so funny that you say that, because I feel so stuck today. Today in particular, I don't know. I just have this huge block of I don't know what to say, I don't know what to talk about. I feel like I'm irrelevant. So I was writing down one of my very few times that I write down in my journal, and I wrote down how has everything that's happened in my life from now up until grade school, how's everything my fault? And I'm trying to work my way backwards from this year up until grade school of how should I have taken responsibility? How could I have been more brave? How could I have been more compassionate that way? And I feel like when I say that, people are like, oh, you're being pessimistic, you're being hard on yourself. Because I am very hard on myself. That's very true. I am very hard on myself.
To me, it sounds like you're looking for patterns. When people go back on stuff and look at stuff over a long period of time, the longitude of a certain situation, they are generally looking for a pattern or a habit they are trying to change. It's like, if you look at anything for a long enough time, everything has a pattern. So I know I did this myself, where I took a period of time, what was from now until, very much like yourself, that was horrendous. About 7 years ago was a very bad time for me. And I took full ownership of that because it was my decision. From then until now, what were the patterns? Everything in life has a pattern, right down to the grabbers in an amusement park. You know, those toy grabbers that grab like soft toys and stuff. They all have patterns. Life has patterns. And when you look back over a certain amount of time, most people are looking for the pattern. What is the thing that I keep? Because the common denominator is yourself. You've got to think, if the pattern keeps happening, the common denominator is you. So if that's the case, what is it, this pattern? If I'm the common denominator, what is the pattern that I keep repeating? And how do I slightly change that? Because one small change could change that entire pattern completely. And that's might well be all what it takes, is that small. The pattern itself is fine, but there's a small, like most of it, like 90% of it's fine, but you're getting to the end result of that pattern and it's just not working out for you. So that 10% could just need a tweak or a stop completely. And it's like, we'll take self-sabotage for example. Self-sabotage means you've got to a good point and then you've stopped yourself. So the pattern is you've got to a good point and then stopped yourself. So actually, a lot of self-sabotage has something good in it, because you've got to a good point. You can't self-sabotage something that's not working, because you'll let that carry on. So it means you've shown progress and then you've stopped yourself. So that you only need to take the 10% away to carry on with your progress. So if you see a pattern and you just take a certain part away from it, you could actually change the entire course of whatever you're doing.
Wow. Yo, you're like... I need like a minute. I need 10-minute doses of you every day for the rest of my life.
Well, yeah, you can have a Linden pill. It's good.
Oh my god, I would so buy that. Like, if I was a Shark Tank, I'd be like, can you invest in this, please?
No, but I agree. The one thing I've noticed that in everything in life is, that's why I love patterns. I love patterns. I notice them straight away. It started from maths. Maths has a lot of patterns in, and then it just spread out. So if you're specifically looking for, you've kind of gone, this chunk of time that I'm looking at, you're looking for patterns within your habits, or I would kind of suggest that you'd be looking for patterns within your habit, because if you're taking responsibility for something, you want to see where the bits where you think you either went wrong or you could have changed. But if it's, probably notice it's the same thing or relatively the same situation, that's your pattern.
Wow. And it's so funny that you say that, because I used to be a huge party girl. And like, if people were going out, if there's like a thing, like, I'd always be there. And at my job, my coworkers had invited me out, and I so badly wanted to go. I wanted to go so badly, and I was like, this is a habit that sent you down a very dark path. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And so I said no, and I felt extremely guilty. I felt really bad, but I'm glad that I said no in a very weird way. I feel like I kind of feel awkward on my coworkers now, like maybe they think I'm too good for them, like I'm too prude for them. But like on the other side, I kind of don't care, if that makes sense.
No, I get you completely. I think this another thing is, FOMO is a real thing. You know.
Yeah.
FOMO, like, I can quite happily say up until about a year or two ago, FOMO was strong within me. Like, the fear of missing out was just like a dog tag I wore. Because I was forever like, oh, what are they doing? What if I miss out on this? What if I miss out on that? And then I was like,
yeah,
it's exhausting. Like, trying to keep up with everybody else.
It is.
With the fear of, because you're scared of missing out on something, you're always going to miss out on something. Because as soon as you make a decision to do one thing, you're going to miss out on the other thing that's happening over there. So, you can't fear what you never chose, because you don't know how it's going to work out.
Exactly.
So, but FOMO, that gets you doing some, I'm preaching on this one, but man, it makes you do some daft shit. It does. It proper makes you do some daft shit. And I can honestly say, like, once you get past that, and you, like you say, you got to the point where you're like, actually, you know what, I don't give a fuck. It's like, there you go. You kind of evolved yourself onto the next level of, well, that's it.
Well, you still have a social life though, right? Like, how do you manage it?
Not much of one, I'll be honest. But it's more because my priorities have changed. When I socialise with my friends, I want to spend time with them. I don't want to go out to a club or a bar or something and I'm having to go, what? Because it's so loud. And I want to, once you want that deep connection, my circle got really small really quickly. And I thought, I was just like, but the people that I connect with now are worth, I lost loads of people, but the circle of 5 or 6 people that I have, I wouldn't swap them for anything. Because I might not see them for a couple of weeks, but when I see them, that's it. That we just literally were in on each other. I have a friend who lives like 100 miles away from me. And when we see each other, I mean, we realised that we hadn't even took a picture of each other, like of us together, in 8 years.
Wow.
But because when we're with each other and it's our time, nothing exists. Like, our phone, unless there's an emergency, our phones are away. We don't touch them, because that connection is more important. And that's when you know you've kind of gone on to, I always feel that's when you know when you got on to the next level, because your circle goes small like that. But
it does. And it's so crazy. It's so nuts how small the circle gets. Because it's like, I used to have loads of friends. And then, like, now I'm left with, like, 2. And I'm like, wait, all of you were bad for me?
Hell yeah.
That's not a reflection of them. Like, it's not saying that they're a bad person. But it's like...
Oh, no. Somewhere. You can admit it. Some were bad people. That's absolutely fine to admit.
That's true. That's true. But it's like... And I'll still see it. I have a lot of them still as my Facebook friends. And I'll see them, like, they're posted. I'm like, oh, God. I was absorbing this for years. And, like, no wonder I got sick.
Yep.
No wonder I felt not only physically ill, but, like, mentally ill.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I was just taking it in, you know?
Yep. I completely agree. It's... You are what you're around. Because you're feeding on it. And if you're feeding on, like, I had a person in my life who was constantly negative. And when I was trying to break free of that whole... Because I used to be a very, very negative person. And when I was trying to break free of that negative thinking, oh boy, did they try and bring me back down. And I was just like, no, I'm not being part of this. And eventually we parted ways. Because you can't have that. If you outgrow people. Some people are supposed to be in your life forever. Some people are supposed to be in your life to teach you a lesson. And some people are just meant to be in your life for a certain amount of time.
Well, so with that person in particular, like, was there a discussion, or was there, like, how did you, like, cut them off? I hate that phrase, cut them off. It's like we're drug dealers. I don't like that phrase.
Outgrow them. I like the term outgrow. Because, like, you do.
Okay,
you kind of...
Okay, I like that. I like that better. Okay.
It's more like... I voice my opinions, they voice theirs. We show... Actions should who backs up what. And if they don't align, not that, but if I'm leaving you feeling completely drained, or feeling undervalued, or like my presence there was just so you weren't bored on your own, I can't be around that because it drains me. I like positive energy. I like ways we can grow together. I will be your biggest cheerleader. If you ever want to do something, I'll be like, let's do this. I'll find you ways. We can do this. But if the only thing that you have any energy over is how to get your own back on somebody and stuff like that, I can't be part of that. And once I accepted that I couldn't be part of that, that's when we parted ways. Because I was just like, you've got to do your thing, and I respect that, but I have to respect my way of how I am, and we don't gel. So I wish you luck, and I never wish anything harmful on them or anything like that. It's not me. Like, we just weren't supposed to be around each other. You were supposed to be in my life to teach me a lesson.
Yeah.
And it took me a couple of times to learn that lesson, I'm not gonna lie. But you were there to teach me a lesson, and once I learned that lesson was, I can't have this negativity in my life. You have now set the bar. I had it set for relationships, and now I've had it set for friendships. I can never go below that bar.
Yeah, wow, I never even thought about setting standards for friendships. I never even considered that.
You have to. Most people let friendships in closer than they do relationships.
Yeah. For sure. I had one friend, and we would talk more like she was talking, I would listen, which I didn't mind. I did mind.
Yeah, be honest.
And, like, every time I was having a problem, she'd be like, you're being stupid. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right, I'm being stupid. Which whenever I call myself stupid, I'm like, I'm not stupid. Like, that's someone else like telling me that I'm stupid. But one day, she completely exploded on me. She was like, let me tell you about yourself. Let me tell you everything that's doing wrong with your life. And I was like, why am I taking this? why am I accepting this? And I just never replied to her.
Yeah.
I never replied to her. She's reached out to me a couple of times, and I'm like, I haven't responded to her because I'm like, there's nothing to say. And then that's another thing. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like after a certain age, you have to start being responsible for how you treat other people. You can't ask people to coddle you and baby you the whole way.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh
like
yeah.
There's nothing like wrong with you mentally, physically. You should know you should know that if you were crappy, can I curse?
Oh, I said fuck earlier, so yeah, go for it.
You should know, you should know that, okay, because I think a lot of people think to themselves, if someone talked to me that way, I'm not gonna take it personally. But that's how you were raised. You know, that's how your foundation. That's not someone else's.
Yeah.
You know. So that's where the whole, like, what's that phrase? Treat people how you want to be treated. That's why I'm always so iffy with that, because it's like some people love to get random hugs. I don't like random hugs. Don't randomly touch me. Like, I don't like that at all. So like, if you might like random hugs, but I don't. So don't do that.
I gotta trust you before you can come in my space. I don't like this.
Yes.
Yep. Because it's I'm totally agree with you. Like, it's all right. I think you've got to treat everybody on the same level, as in, like, I'm no better than you, you're no better than me. But how everybody comes at something is very different. So as long as you come with a level of kindness and understanding, then and that everybody's the same, it's then for them to reveal themselves to how you should be around them. So I always think that if you come at it completely level, completely neutral, and just bring yourself, and a confidence within who you are, then they already know how to treat you. And then it's then for them to show themselves, because you've gone, right, this is how I'm going to be. This is what I'll accept. This is what I won't accept. Not because I'm having a go, not because I feel I'm better than you, but just simply that these are my standards, and I want you to respect me for these standards. I will do the same for your standards and what you have, but you have to at first show me what your standards are. It's like having that verbal conversation. Like, for me, I am very much a woman of my word. If I say to you, I could promise to meet you in 6 months' time at 11 p.m, and I could guarantee you without hesitation, I would never need to speak to you again until that point. I would meet you at that point, because it matters to me that I get to that point. It matters to me. If I say I'm going to do it, it's very rare I go back on it unless there's an actual emergency or something like that. And it's got to the point that people know me for that. So if I say I'm going to hit a girl, and I fucking mean it, I'm going for it. If I say I'll meet you, I will meet you, because I need people to understand that I'm not just voicing I am a woman of my word. I am giving the actions. So when people come to me, they go, oh yeah, that's her standards. I respect that standards. So that I don't need to, even if I didn't say it, you knew who I was. And I would do the same to that person as well. If they was to go, right, I need a bit more support than most people, blah, 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 I'd be like, that's cool, that's your standards, and I fully accept them and I respect them. As long as you respect mine, I will always respect yours. And I think as you get older and you get to know what your standards are, what you will accept, what you won't accept, it's only then can you start taking responsibility to be yourself and be kind to others and understand each other.
Yeah. True. So what do you like to do for fun?
Me? For me, I like to learn. I am one of these nerds that likes to learn. I never realised how much until I looked at my YouTube history.
What's something that's like completely random on your YouTube history that you researched? You go first, because I have mine next.
Oh, all right then. Oh, this is a nice little interest into who you are as well.
Yeah.
For me, I found a quote that I really liked, and out of curiosity, because it had the woman who said the quote underneath it, and I'd never heard of the name, and I was like, I wonder how much of this is bullshit. So I literally Googled and then YouTubed her just to find out. And apparently she was quite a wise woman who was very much an advocate for helping the strong as much as the weak. And I was like, oh, that was interesting. So yes, that's the most random thing. And it's like, it's one of those that you would never think of ever. Like, you'd see the name at the bottom of something and you'd be like, oh, alright, that's who it is, and that's the end of it. Oh, have we cut? Ashely, you there? Oh, there.
Sorry.
It's alright.
I apologize. I think that was my phone. I apologize. Okay, but keep going. Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're still going.
Okay.
So basically, yes, I YouTubed a random quote to find out if it was true, and it turned out YouTubed and Googled, because you gotta have one to back up the other. I don't just take one piece of information. But yeah, I found that interesting. What about you?
My most random one would have to be today.
Okay.
Today I looked up. Oh my god, I can't believe this out loud.
Go on then. Go on.
So the title sounds weird. There's a reason. So I'm really big on how we came to be the way that we are, because I really think that, and I thank my high school teacher. I can't think of her name, Miss Knoll. I want to call her Miss Knoll, but she said that if you want an answer to something, look at history. So I really firmly believe, like, there's a reason that, like, and it's not social media's fault. And I think everyone wants to blame social media, but it's not. You know? They're just highlighting it. So I looked up today, do aliens exist?
Okay.
Yeah, like space aliens. And, yeah. And there's a scientist saying that Earth is, and I forgive anyone that like already knows this, they're probably like, this is common sense, Ashely. But like, this was new to me. But like, Earth was here before humans were here. Oh, yeah. But also there were beings on Earth, but they were single cell organisms. Yeah. You know? And I'm sure this is going to piss off anyone who's extremely religious, but we evolved from those single cell organisms. Yeah. So I've just been fascinated with like how those organisms began to evolve and how the animals came to evolve. Because like if even if you look in the ocean, there's some weird things in the ocean. Oh yeah. There's some things we don't know in the ocean, you know? And yeah, so I'm really into that.
You have got a
probably in the wrong field. I probably should have been a scientist.
No, well, what I took from that is you're looking for more patterns.
Oh my god, I guess I
am. You're looking for more patterns. Because my first thought was, are you looking biologically or emotionally? Because the way you addressed it, the thing is I understand the emotional one and history, because I actually started looking into it myself when I started looking at like the Holocaust and how can such bad things happen and then go to a certain point then stop, because you've got to think all these bad things get to a point where, especially in the Holocaust, millions of people died, and then it's like the bad got so far that the good came in and went, we're not having this. And if you look at our history, humans' history, we do this a fuck ton. We'll come in, destroy stuff, and then, like, bad people destroy stuff, and then good comes along as, you took it too far. Either Mother Nature steps in, or people's kindness steps in and goes, no, we're going too far with this. Now, it always takes it to the extreme level. Like, I've noticed the counterparts of it is always to the extreme level. But it's one of those where when something goes too far, I like to think of it as in myself. If I have too much crap food, I crave fruit and veg. But I have to go to an extreme before I'll start craving this fruit and veg. It's like, internally, we know how to balance ourselves. So externally, we start balancing ourselves. But we have to be pushed to a point where we go, no, that's out of order.
Yeah.
That's out of order.
And I'm scared because I know what's coming. I'm scared for that point when we're like, okay, this is too far. I'm worried what that point's going to be, because we haven't reached it yet. We're tiptoeing on it.
We're tiptoeing on the cusp of it. I think we are seeing patterns within every culture, every nation, where we are on the verge of, yes, things are still in a way a lot better than they were, but they're also, I think, the balance between, because good and bad are conceptions where what one person thinks is good another person could think is bad. But it's one of those where when an entire nation can come to the agreement that this is like, you can't step to anybody who agrees that the Holocaust was a good thing. It's a collective agreement that was horrendous. When we get to the point where the collective nations go, you know what, this is really fucking bad, that's when good comes in. But it's the only time, like, anytime you look at anything bad, it's like, you can take for when slavery ended. It took a full load of people, a full collection of people to go, this is fucking bad. Why are we continuing it on? And the good outweighed the bad. There's still bad, there was still shitty shit going on, and still is to this fucking day, which pisses me the fuck off. But there was enough good to come in and go, we need to sort something out. We need to start saving lives. And I think once we don't stop it until we can internalize it.
Yeah.
Because when we've took too much crap, the good's got to come in and go, we're going to balance this shit out. Even if we can't stop it, we're going to give some sort of balance to it. And that's the pattern that continuously, you can look at anything from wars to I say the Holocaust, to slavery, to anything, whereas the good, it might not stop it, because essentially we are still, even though we have collective behavior, we are still individuals. And I think we're never going to stop it completely, but if we all agree that something is too bad, then we stop it. And I think within our nations, within the Western world, I think that the bad is collecting too much, that the good is getting pissed off. But the thing is they're not, the good is not just getting pissed off with the right, the good is getting pissed off with the left too.
Oh yeah, girl.
I think if you take an extreme, no matter if it's good or bad, if you take an extreme, it's never going to work out. People think if you go too far good, oh, it's good. It's like, actually, no, you need a little bit of balance here. The whole reason why government works is that, or any governing body, whether it be yourself and how you work day by day, or how a nation works, is you need your left and you need your right. You need your order and you need your freedom, and with together they can work shit out. You can't have one without the other. You need, it's like a heart. You need your left and the right side of it. You can't work with half a heart. So,
and that's the problem. People don't want to work together. It's either you do it my way or we don't do it at all, and that's where the confusion's coming in.
And I think that's where people like us have the power to change stuff. Like, we are individuals, but as we come together as a community, we're a collective. So, and we can create collective behaviour, and enough behind us that goes, you know what, extreme right is bad, but so is fucking extreme left. Let's sort this crap out. Like, enough people go, well, that's not good. Well, neither is that. Let's sort something out in between. That in-between group is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think they might not all agree on the same stuff, and they might have the bits in between. But when enough of them go, this shit's out of order, that's when things change.
And I've been watching a lot of videos on, like, interviews of, like, people who are extreme left and extreme right, and they don't all agree with each other.
No.
And I think that's the misconception, that we think that, like, we think that we all think the same, but it's like, we don't have to, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I say, we do collective behaviours, but we are an individual. So if we're an individual on a day-to-day basis, then we're going to have individual thoughts. I'm never going to think the same way you are. And there's a whole psychological behaviour behind it of, me and you could see the exact same occurrence. I say we went to see a film. We both went to see the film. We both saw it from beginning, middle to end, and we both walked out at the exact same time. Your experience of it will be completely different to mine, and people forget this. Your point of view, even though you were sat next to me, would have been a slight angle off. So you are never experiencing something exactly the same.
Oh, wow. I never thought about that. Wow.
You could be sat bang next to me, but you're still going to be like 10 degrees to the right. So you're still not going to literally... Oh, God, I'm throwing my glasses now. You're still literally not going to... You're not going to see from the same angle. So even you might see a few more pixels than I do, and it sharpened the picture and you like that more. Or, you know, I could have been bang on, so I saw the full glare, or something like that. Or I was in the middle, so I got the full effect of everything. So even...
That's something that we did, Sorry, go ahead.
As I was just going to say, like, basically, no matter how much you are, even if you were stood on my head so you could actually see bang on, like, the same view, you're above me, so your angle is still different. So it's always different. True.
I was gonna say, when I was acting on the stage, that was a big thing. Like, we had to play to the audience because, like, not everyone could see us, and at some point they're gonna our back to me to the audience at some point, which is like a huge, like, rule that you never do that. You never have your back to the audience, but sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
And sometimes having your back to the audience is the most powerful move that you can make if it's intentional. And I think that a lot of what's happening is intentional. But
there's a lot to it. To be honest, I could talk about it all day. So, we're coming to the end now. This has actually been a really nice conversation, and nobody's thought to ask me a question, so you're the first. No, actually, you're the second. But yes, it's definitely been a pleasure.
It always is, yo.
So before I get to ask you my final question that I surprise everybody with, how can people find you?
Oh yeah, so I have all the major social media platforms. You can add me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is the Breakup Diaries. I'm on Instagram and on Twitter. My handle is the Aunt of Dragons. You can add me on Facebook, Ashely Collins. It may take me a couple weeks to add you, but I will add you back. Or you can add me on Snapchat. I need to promote my Snapchat more, because I feel like I'm really funny on my Snapchat. So my Snapchat is here for the wine. The is DA wine. Don't judge me. It won't let me change my handle.
So yeah, people check her out. She's awesome, and she's always got very wise words to say, especially on Twitter. So, coming to the end question, as I say. So, you meet a person who is about to go through everything in your life that you've been through. They're going to go through your ups, your downs, your highs, your lows. They're going to go through it all. you're not allowed to tell them a goddamn thing. All you can do is give them 3 pieces of advice to get them through it. What would you say?
Breathe, smile. It's okay to say no.
Oh, I like that one. I like that one. I always love that question because it gives people a chance to go, whoa, how do I condense all this information down into 3 bits of advice? But I think saying no is one thing that people forget they can do or feel like they shouldn't do. And sometimes it feels liberating to just go, you know what? No.
It does. It does. And that's a pattern that I see a lot with the whole Me Too movement, or people that take shitty jobs, or people who go to college and they regret it, and people are always ask, why didn't you say no? And I'm still trying to figure out, why don't we just say no? Other than the fear of violence, other than that, but like, if there's no threat of violence, what psychological reason, what kind of insecurity, something that happened in our childhood that made us feel like we couldn't say no? I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'm still practicing my no. I'm still practicing it every single day.
My personal opinion is, essentially, as humans, we don't want to upset the balance. We don't want to upset people. We essentially we see each other as good, and that we want to do good, and we just want to please.
Yeah.
We just want to make people happy, and sometimes we do it at the expense of ourselves.
Wow. You need, like, I'm not trying to, like, knock Oprah down or anything like that, but, like, if she wants to take a break, I think you should take over for her.
Funny, you know what? I'll say this openly on this. I've actually been feeling like I have not been given any value just lately, and
shut up.
Honestly,
don't shut up. Sorry, that's an American thing. No,
it's alright.
Sorry, don't shut up. Don't shut up. Sorry.
But I've been feeling like just lately I have not been given any value, and it's people like you and other people that I've met that I've been like, that have given me that boost, that have kind of gone like, even if you're not feeling it, just continue on. So
yeah,
I'm gonna say thank you to you, because you have actually really helped me the last week or so just to get through some stuff. So a thank you to you as well.
Thank you.
On that note, you can't see this, people, but we're both grinning like Cheshire cats at the moment. But thank you again, Ashely, for being on, and to everybody else, good day, good brew.